The longing whisper. Days, weeks, minutes, years, seconds, centuries. The fine line between these simple methods of time has become blurred to me. Time drags on forever here. There is no day, no night in this place. I am alone. You might think that I am in a paradise of some sort, isolated from the rest of the world. You would be dead wrong. I am in a room of eternal horror, with none to comfort me at all from the very thing that I am beginning to hate. Myself. I can no longer remember when it had begun, when I had been cast into this forsaken place to suffer. But I do know one thing. I am in here, and I have to get out. What little I have, I would trade readily for at least something to distract me from this unending nightmare. For here, there is nothing. I try to look at something to soothe my pain, but the only thing that returns my gaze is the cold, merciless stare of the white. There is nothing here but the white. I try to run from it, to escape the unrelenting creature that is everywhere around me. In the end, however, I slam painfully into the end of the room, only to meet face to face again with the white. Thousands upon thousands of times I have done this to no avail. The white finds me wherever I am and tortures me. I scream and scream and scream. Fear grips me with unnatural strength constantly. At times I crawl into a corner and stay there for as long as I can before the white finds me again. It is at this point that a strange voice that sounds like me, but whose tone is different, appears. It is a longing whisper, telling me that there is a way to escape from this madness. Its voice, however, strikes fear into my heart every time my ears hear it. I am dreading to hear its message. It never finishes, however. It only taunts me and ridicules my pain with a sadistic laugh. It visits me several times at random points in my torment. Whenever I am in the corner, it is veiled in my shadow and becomes the black. This is why I come here so often. It is a difference from the white, not welcoming nor hostile. It is simply there. I take joy in simply staring at it. But then, when I turn around, the white is there. It finds me no matter what I do. When I look back toward where the black is, I see to my horror that it is gone. My only source of peace from the fear of the white abandons me nearly all the time. It is an untrustworthy friend. I no longer search for it. The white is still everywhere. No matter how many times I run from it, it follows tirelessly. I can never escape from it, but I have to. As I lay here on the floor in exhaustion, huddled and cowering in terror, something absolutely wonderful happens. I look up at last to see something. I have never been so happy in my life. It was a small rectangular object, wrapped in a strange silver foil. I have no idea what it is. I am only elated that there is finally something. I bolt over to it, ripping the foil off maniacally. What was inside was the same rectangle shape, only a pale yellow color. It's spongy. Taking it for food, I stuff it in my mouth. There was one thing that I retained in my memory all this time. What food food tastes like. The wonderful aroma, the steaming heat, and the glorious sensation of tasting the flavor and savoring it, never wishing for it to end, was a memory that I always remembered. Whatever this thing was in my mouth did not do any of these things. It did not dissolve. It did not melt. It did not even separate from its main body. It was no food. Being inevitable, I spit it out. Pain at this horrendous disappointment. I begin to sob. Long and hard I cry. I fall flat on the floor, weeping in not only discontent, but in suffering and self-pity over the billions of times the white haunted me. The longing whisper came to me again, speaking to me. I almost listened to it this time. My memory has begun to fail me, for I cannot recollect when I had stopped the fit of tears and the longing whisper had disappeared. I can only remember one thought that came into my mind after it finished. I have to get out of here. Now. Frantically, I searched for something, anything that even barely resembled a way out, looking with an indescribable determination. I had longed so much to be free, to feel the warm breeze of the wind on my face, to feel the grass beneath my feet, to hear the sound of a human voice. I have to get out. I have to get out. I cannot remember how long I have been looking. Throughout this hunt, I have begun to grow frustrated, though. I can't find anything. Nothing. Not even a crack in the wall. There is nothing but the white. And still the white always finds me. It has no mercy. It feels nothing. It has no emotion. It can only stare and torment. I know in my mind that this is the breaking point. I begin to boil with uncontrollable rage. I yell in a torrential fury toward the white, roaring in anger. I pound against it with my fists, shouting all the while. It has tormented me for far too long. I hit and hit and hit. Once again, my memory fails me. I find myself propped against the wall, hiding in a corner, in a helpless, suffering position. I am exhausted. I cannot move. My muscles ache in soreness. Every fiber of energy in my being is gone. I wallow in pain, sobbing uncontrollably. I realize now that the white cannot be beaten. It will always be there. It will always find me. I can do nothing at all to protect me from its ever-present gaze of cold malice. The longing whisper returns to me. Its voice spares me no mercy, and I wish to be rid of it. Too weak to resist the message anymore, however, I listen, and then I scream in agony as I realize that what it has had to say all this time is the one thing that I desperately want and need, and yet it is the one thing that I can never achieve. The only escape from madness is death.